PugsLive.com, PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Thursday afternoon, July 5th, 2012. Coming to you, broadcasting today, that is. I want to be more specific. Because, yeah, we're coming to you from, why do I get hung up on these things? This is called, in radio, this is called chasing rabbits down rabbit holes. I chased that rabbit, the coming to you or broadcasting from rabbit. It was a conversation that was going on in my head, and it wasn't supposed to be out here on the microphone, but I chased that rabbit, and then that conversation, I got a lot of things
And look,
going
you're still
on.
having it.
Brandon is here. Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Hello there, guys.
Yeah. Coming to you live from the beautiful Sunbrew Summer Beach House located in far north Dallas, Texas. It is 92 degrees outside. What do you say it is outside, Brandon?
I haven't walked out more than to the mailbox, which is at my front door, so I couldn't tell you.
Jimmy, what do you got? What's your guess on what the temperature is right now?
I'd say it's not too far off. Maybe 95, 96.
See, this is why this room is crazy. Brandon's thing says it's 83 degrees outside. It ain't 83. It ain't.
What do you mean my
83.
thing? How's that my thing?
Every day I come in here and I do this is why I do the weather, because it's so completely off from what it must really be. Like,
Okay.
for instance, you pull down, or maybe it's 83 in this room, although it doesn't feel that warm in the room.
Mine says it's 88 outside, my AT&T app.
Wow.
Currently 88. It feels, I forgot. I went running this morning. I run now.
I wanted it to be 92, because that's what I said. All right, Jimmy's here. Brandon is here. We've got a full show for you. We got a lot of things we want to talk about today. Some new procedures going on at airports for you frequent and infrequent travelers. Brandon, you just traveled. How did you find the security mess at the airports?
Wasn't that bad, actually.
No, not too bad?
No, I kind of got in and walked in. I tried to look really suspicious.
Uh-huh.
Just try to walk in.
How do you do that? How do you look non-suspicious?
Totally American.
Yeah.
Just keep it real.
Totally American. What does a total American look like?
Ball cap on, basic T-shirt, blue jeans, traditional style of footwear. Nothing too athletic. Looks like I'm start sprinting or running.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay, so a loafer? Is that what you're saying? A loafer?
No, Vans. I choose Vans.
Vans.
American lifestyle shoe. Vans. You know, like Spicoli wore Vans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did you know what Vans are, right?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
Oh, well, you look.
You're riffing. I'm giving you room to riff. I'm just going, yeah, let's go.
Well, I didn't wear boots either. You don't wear boots. Boots
All
are
right.
always suspicious.
Why no boots?
Because you can conceal handguns, knives, grenades, stuff of that nature. In there.
But you're in the airport, so you think they would have gotten to those already? I mean, you can't just conceal a hand grenade in a boot and think you can get on an airplane.
Well, but it gives them reason to look. Like there might be something stuffed.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Well, anything gives them a reason to look. They're just randomly selecting people.
Don't make
So
eye
we're just going to
contact.
look over this boot real quick. Looks like you might have a grenade in there.
What's this grenade?
Oh, I should have
used.
used grenades. Grenades are probably not as popular as they used to be in the 80s, but
Well, all right. We'll get into that as well. Here's the thing. In England, there was a problem on a bus. One of these big English buses.
Mm-hmm.
You been to England, Jimmy Ryan?
No, I haven't.
You been to England, Brandon?
no.
All right, I'm just trying to scoreboard you guys. I've been to England. The buses are fantastic. Oh, and you know what else is cool about England? The cabs. The cabs are like special cars. They're not like, like here, it's like an Impala. They just throw a checker, sign on it, or yellow cab or something. No,
Right.
over there, they're like actual special vehicles that are made to be cabs. And I got run over by one.
Really?
Yeah. I fell out of it. I was drunk. And it ran over my legs. And I didn't do nothing. I
I've
was
seen
like,
some places they have like Mercedes as cabs.
Yeah, I like when they have Mercedes as trucks.
Yeah.
When you see like a big working truck and it's a Benz.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's
And you
cool.
tell people I'm rolling a Benz.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You're a delivery guy.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, a bus. There was chaos on a bus, and I want to talk about why. There was this weird smoking liquid that nobody could figure out what it was, and it was coming from under a seat. So they basically, they're on alert there. We're talking about a place that's got a big giant target on its back. It's America's closest friend. So and they're over. England's got a lot of terror. I don't think we really, we remember the big train incident from a couple of years ago, but they've got day in and day out terror. People go crazy all the time over there.
Yeah.
Isn't that where you can't carry a gun? Like it's against the law to have guns.
Can't have guns. No, there are no murders. There's bombings.
There's
and stuff.
murders, but
Actually, there's not too much bombings either. And England's been really sort of secure for the last year or so because they had the big Queen 60th birthday celebration or
60th. She's older.
No, 60th. What do they call it? The Diamond Jubilee. 60 years on the throne.
I saw that.
Yeah, 60 years on the throne. They had that big thing where people from all down. They got the Olympics, so they got their security handled.
I thought that the London riots were kind of cute to watch, though, because like they had the riots going on, and then the cops were coming around with their little batons.
Yeah,
you know, they had nothing else.
Nothing but batons. No. All right, so they evacuated the bus, and everybody's worried. You know, they got the pre-Olympic jitters over there in London. They're not taking anything lightly. You know what it turned out it was? It's one of these new electric cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
One of these new electric cigarettes. Now, I want to have a discussion about these electric cigarettes. And I want your thoughts on them. Jimmy, I bet you know people who smoke them.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Of course. Because it's your douchebag generation that is doing this.
How did this go off? Like, what happened?
I don't know, like it broke or something. And it was the first instance of one of these things breaking into
The Y&R guys have one.
Yeah,
Joey sports one. He thinks he's cool by doing it. I think he.
It is so douchey.
Yeah.
Have you tried one yet?
It is so no.
We don't
Why
smoke.
would I want to try one?
How do you know like what it is if you haven't tried it?
Well, it looks
could be
douchey.
the greatest thing ever.
It can be douchey by looking douchey.
It looks douchey. It looks douchey because you know what people with electronic cigarettes do? They scoreboard other people who still smoke real cigarettes by doing it in public places. And I hate that. And it's such a douchebag move. It's I'm going to have a smoke. You can't smoke in here. No, it's an electronic
that's what Joey
cigarettes.
did to me. I was about to get on him for smoking in the sunbrew house. And I look up some of those you know, I don't want to use the wrong words, but the douche cigarette thing.
Queer. It's queer in the playground queer.
I felt like he was testing me to see if I'd come talk to him about it.
It's nice to be able
It's
to
not
actually smoke
nice.
something
It's
like
not
that.
nice. It's douchebaggy. You look like a
No.
douchebag. When you're smoking an electric cigarette, what's this doing for you?
If this was to actually
Is
have
this
like
really-
well, at one point they're probably going to end up having THC in there. So
You're
are
going
you
to
gonna
start.
still
You
think
are
that-
going to start smoking electric
is
cigarettes. aren't
awful.
you?
No, I'm not going
defensive.
to. It doesn't do the same thing for me.
You sound like.
Well,
What
it just
was
doesn't. Well, when you smoke it, it doesn't give you like, for instance, if I smoke a cigarette, like I feel
Right.
like I got like a chest full of cigarette smoke.
Right.
Whereas if I smoke one of these, it's not quite the same feeling. So I don't personally like it.
Or-
but I've always thought that
Does
if
it
there
give
was,
you the nicotine?
yeah, it does. So you get a little bit of that. But like if there was to be like once like weed gets legalized, you got some THC in there. I'm down. I'll smoke that inside.
Or is it
And
the
would that make me a
$99
douche?
price tag on that?
No, but that's a different business model. That's a whole different kind of thing.
I know.
That's-
I'm just saying that I appreciate the technology that's going into this because, like, one day we'll be able to smoke weed
All right,
indoors.
one day, and maybe for that purpose. But
Yeah.
the thing I've got a problem with is that people are starting to smoke by starting with electronic cigarettes. Like kids.
Can
like
kids use them?
17. It's so stupid. It's like, I'm going to wake up this morning. I think I'm going to get an addiction to nicotine.
Is it
Why
legal?
would you do that? Yeah, it's
for
legal.
kids.
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't think so. Not if there's nicotine in it. If there's
Well, hold on.
nicotine
Now
in it,
these
it's gotta
have
be
they
18.
don't have nicotine though, right?
No. Oh, they do. Yeah.
They do have nicotine,
Yeah.
so it's illegal for kids to have a fake cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remember the little candy cigarettes as kids we all had? Mm-hmm. And you blew them and it actually had smoke, or it had like some kind of flour or something that shot out of it like it was a real cigarette. Isn't that weird that when we were kids we were allowed to buy fake cigarettes as candy?
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Do they
haven't
make your breath smell like
no.
regular cigarettes?
Not the ones that I've used before. But yeah.
God, I hate that.
Do they have odor to them?
No.
No, it's
they
just like a
smell-
mist, unless you're
Yeah.
sitting next to the person and you feel like this mist on you. And that's kind of gross because your mind is thinking that it's cigarette smoke, but it's not. So now it's like some weird cigarette smoke mist that's falling on you. It's
So
weird.
would you
It's
really rather
bad.
somebody just pull out a cigarette and start smoking there?
I'd rather they just go outside and smoke in the huddle of shame.
Just keep
where
it
most
real,
people
baby.
who
Keep it
smoke-
real.
You know, look, the reason that we make people smoke outside away from us is so that we can identify them all. So we can get them all in one pack so we know who they are. It's the huddle of shame. I don't
Yeah.
want these guys now trying to buck that system by pulling out an electric cigarette in the middle of like a business meeting in a boardroom.
And the consequences of
Oh.
doing something that looks douchebaggery and it was to rebel as a young kid is you die eventually from it.
Yeah, I
sentence
hope,
is death,
I
early
hope to
death.
God, we find something horrible out about these electric cigarettes. Something terrible.
That's one thing that I am worried about with those things is because they just don't seem like they've been through the
The
run.
ringer. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. They haven't been around long enough.
Yeah.
They
So-
can't be any worse than real cigarettes, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
you
that's
buy
what-
something that says, here's a warning, you're going to die early, that's pretty bad.
You never want to be the first few thousand to first try out anything.
Right.
Because that's how they find out if it kills people or not. They let you know it's true. It's
It
absolutely true. It's clinical testing. You never want to be one of those people. They may pay you, but they're going to say, hey, we don't know what this is going to do to your system. You're a guinea pig. Here's $5.
Yeah, I don't even want to get like the first generation of iPhones, much
Yeah,
less
right,
like
right.
the
I always
first
wait.
generation of those.
Technology of any kind of new technology. I'm always 5 years behind because I wait for a couple of different versions to come
let
out
the
before I
kinks
jump in.
get worked out.
Exactly.
That's true.
You never want to be first in. You never want to. Like, there are these people, Jimmy, and it's funny you bring this up because we were talking about this the other day. These new Google glasses that are coming out. Well, Sergey Brin, at his big Google rollout meeting last week, he was talking about how Google glasses are going to change the world and all this stuff. And then he talked about the designers and how this is an ongoing concept, that the original users of Google glasses are also going to be the designers and the programmers who actually create whatever universe or whatever thing Google glasses turns out to be. And he said he was going to charge them, and he made it sound like this great honor, and I guess maybe to some techie people it is, but then it was going to cost them $1,500. So it's basically what we're talking about right now, a clinical study, except he's figured out a way, Sergey Brin, to charge the people who are actually going to be testing the equipment. Usually the people testing the equipment get paid.
But you know what the difference is? Those guys have the first insight on what's going on, and they'll create the first apps and all the cool technology, and they'll make
he'll own them
millions.
all.
But he'll make they'll be able to make some money. And if they want to have a shot at that, they got to ante up the money
Unless
for
you
research.
are some hotshot programmer who thinks you've got great ideas, I suppose being in on the first, I think it was, 850 people or something they were going to sell these $1,500 glasses to?
They've actually opened it up now, and that's why I want one. I mean, I'm probably going to end up doing the same thing. I don't have the money, but I'll do it for $1,500. Because it's so different. I mean, like, this is going to be something like a technology that's going to be used for the next 100 years.
Explain to people and Brandon what Google Glasses are.
It's basically, have you ever played like the best way that I can put it is like a video game where like it's like a first person shooter, but you got all the info up on the screen around you, like your health, your whatever. It's basically that. It's a heads up display except for everything. So like everywhere you go, you got like basically your messages will pop up whenever you don't have to look at your phone anymore.
They're glasses you wear.
So basically, you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, an instant message pops up in your eyes, and you have a wreck.
Well, it's gonna be in your peripheral.
Yeah, these are the kind of problems that I'm foreseeing. Yeah, I'm seeing all kinds of problems.
Your peripheral?
Yeah, they definitely thought that part of it out. I mean, it's gonna be the peripheral of your vision. You're gonna be able to actually figure that out.
Yeah, it's not gonna be right in your line of sight. It's gonna be
Phil, I get it.
like
I get an
Terminator.
instant message that comes to my phone of a naked chick, and all of a sudden, whoop! I'm distracted for half a second because there's some boobs in my face or to the right of me, and I look to the right. Instinctively, I look to the right.
Well, let's stop technology because Brandon's going to get email of topless girls.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's just going to be your personal specific problem. You're going to have to get
They need to
over.
work. Hey, Jimmy, put that as one of the glitches. Maybe you'll be the guy that discovers a problem and you get some recognition for it. They call it the Jimmy. The Jimmy.
Yeah, your app will just basically censor or scramble any obscene pictures that may distract you while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
That's good.
That would work. I just think that there's just unlimited possibilities with it. So I mean, like, it makes sense to get into that. At least with the glasses, it's not going to be the end product. I mean, the end product's definitely going to be contacts in like 10 years.
What do they look like? Do they look like Oakley goggles?
No.
There you go. Here, I'm pulling this up.
See how they look, because you're going to have to walk around with these things on. They got to look good.
Give me some sound on this. I'm going to play this. This is Google unveils Google Glasses.
I want some of the cop style, like Maverick would, like Top Gun would wear. The old cop style?
Nah, they've
I want something like that.
Already announced that they've teamed with some of the top sunglass designers in the world to create, these glasses. So yeah, it'll be. All right, here we go. This is probably going to give us a commercial first. It says Google Sergey Brin reveals video capturing augmented reality glasses at Google I/O in San Francisco.
How long's that coffee gonna last?
I picture him looking like New Wave. Remember the New Wave glasses back in the day? Pugs, like in the 80s?
Hold on a second.
5 Hour Energy.
Yeah, we'll get them there. Their commercial. All right, what kind of glasses was it?
Remember when New Wave first came out, like in the early, like 82, 81, and they had the glasses that were real skinny that went wrapped around your face, kind of like Oakley's and stuff, but they were much thinner. You don't remember that style?
Kind of.
Back when we wore bandanas around our wrist.
Hold on, I'm trying to pay attention. Okay, here you go. Here's the Google Glasses story. All right.
And that's why today I'd like to announce the Google Glass Explorer Edition. The devices that we used were Google Glass prototypes and has a display so I can see visual information right now, images, video. It has a camera to capture picture and video also. Has a processor, a pretty powerful processor to process information and a lot of memory to store information. In order to
Kind of looks Star Trek-y.
Yeah, it
we
looks like a
have
terminal,
touchpad
like
on the side.
a little thing.
Oh,
of
here it goes.
I
He's
have a button here.
he's
so
explaining what
let's
this
take
is.
a picture of you right now, which I just did. We have microphones, so we can collect audio information. We also have a small speaker, so I can receive audio information. The device also has a number of sensors. So we have gyroscopes, accelerometers, and compass. So it's aware of its location with respect to my body.
Just walking down
and
the
is
street,
also
and it's
aware of
telling
its
you you're heading
location
northwest.
I can already tell you. I can already tell you the
Uh,
first problem. I'll wait till it's over, but I already figured
War.
out the first problem with these things.
And lastly, and very importantly, it has multiple radios for data communication.
So we created Glass so that you can interact with the virtual world.
This
to
is
not
Isabel
distract you
Olsen.
from the real world.
She sounds like
One
she's
clear
Swiss.
example of this is that we decided to actually position the display above your eye.
God,
And
she's pretty
Glass
sexy.
as a whole
Google
is designed to be
executive. Oh,
close to
she's
your
sexy.
senses, but not
She's a
blocking
redhead.
them. And this picture shows so clearly how we don't want technology. to
Brandon, I
get
bet
in
she
the
does
way.
nothing for you.
Hey, me?
Yeah,
She doesn't. I was just thinking she'd be talking,
She
she'll be talking megabytes and
Exactly.
pixels and all that
while
crap.
doing
I'm like,
that, she can
shut the hell
capture
up.
this beautiful
She's a
moment
Google
without
executive.
any
But it's kind of cool to have one of those little cameras
she's-
on while during sex.
And whether it's
Have
with
those glasses
family
on while you're having
or
sex?
friends, we want to empower people to use
All right,
technology.
we're learning about Google.
All right, let me tell you the
Glasses.
first problem I see,
All right, yeah.
okay?
Well, what's your problem with the Google Glasses?
Let me tell you the pros and the cons. My first pro is I just thought of something. While you're having sex, you could put another chick's image on the screen while you're having sex, so you can visually see like
Sure.
you're making out with Angelina Jolie or somebody when you're really not. That's a plus. The problem is, y'all see the show called The Jerk? Jimmy, you seen The Jerk?
Sure.
No.
You remember the problem with The Jerk? His glasses?
In the movie The Jerk, it was Steve Martin's first movie. He played an idiot who accidentally invented something and made $1 million. And what he invented was a eyeglass holder for your
To pull your glasses on and off.
yeah to pull your
The
glasses.
problem was it made you
They made everybody
cross-eyed.
cross-eyed.
The problem is it's going to make one of your eyes is going to rotate to the right all the time. You're going to have a
Something
funny,
like
a lazy
that.
eye going to the right.
You're absolutely
That's
right.
the first problem I see because it's going to train your eye to constantly be going one direction. And so when you talk to somebody with your glasses off, one eye will be facing them, the other one will be heading to the right.
I don't know if that's going to happen because I don't know enough about the human body, but I'll tell you, it's
a possibility.
It certainly is a possibility. I mean, the human body, the human eye has never been used in this way before with this kind of, every day in and out. Who knows? Maybe it's going to start making people go blind. Maybe it'll start. I mean, you know what I mean?
Look
There's
at Jimmy
no
right
way-
now.
There's no way to say what the effects of wearing Google Glasses are for 10 years. There
Picture-
hasn't been a 10-year study.
Picture
So-
Jimmy there right now. Look at him. Now picture one of his eyes going to the right the whole time.
Yeah, right, because it's constantly being trained to watch the data that's coming. One eye is used to watch, while you're walking down the street, oncoming traffic and all that.
You'd be like
and
a
the other-
gecko.
so the other eye will constantly be trained to be drifting off. And this is terrible. All right, let's kill the project.
I'm going to go ahead and report that now as a case study and just kill the whole Google Glass thing.
No, here's what you need to do. You need to just call in like Rush Limbaugh or somebody and start, create a phony organization. And then get some government funding to research your thoughts because you think this is going to be a problem.
And look, what's cool is I got my first case study with Jimmy. He's already going to buy the thing.
Sure, Jimmy's going to pay for the $1,500. All we got to do is hang out with Jimmy on weekends and see if in social
we'll take
moments
a-
his eye drifts.
We'll take a picture now of his eyes. He can look straight forward. And then 3 months from now, we'll take a picture and one of his eyes will be to the right the whole time. Wow. Lazy eye. Crazy eye. Crazy eyes.
But then that'll be normal. After 20 years of that, it will be normal for the human eye to have one eye that drifts off. And there will be degrees that are like beautiful and degrees of drift that are
You're
ugly.
so wrong.
No, we adapt. People get used to
Let
it.
me tell you why you're wrong.
Why?
Because Brandon Shaw, the guy that can't invent apps and gigabytes and all that crap, can definitely invent a little thing that you put on the other side of your eyeglasses to help balance out your eyes, to keep them more focused. I can create a little piece of plastic that you put on your other eye just to practice and keep it like, kind of exercise.
All right, so what
it.
you're saying is that technology will just fix the problem instead of the human element adapting to this new way
I'm saying
of life.
Brandon Shaw will create the little 10-cent piece of plastic that goes in your glasses to help balance your eyes out.
Right. So what I'm
Not
saying.
really technology, though.
Well, it's an advancement. It's
Yeah.
based upon a flaw in something that. So what you're saying is that we won't give up the glasses and we won't accept the drifting eye, and that instead, what'll happen is somebody will do something that fixes.
Not somebody,
the drifting
me.
eye. Are you? All right, whatever. I'm
For
just saying.
$20, I'll cure your
All right.
problem.
That makes sense. I
Call now.
suppose. I just think it'd be funny if you see jump ahead 100 years in the future, everybody's got a drifting lazy
That's
eye.
what happened to the jerk. Remember the jerk? Everybody walked over cross eyes at the show.
Yeah. It would be funny, and everybody would accept it, and because it would be something that everybody has, there'd be like degrees. Like if it drifts a little bit too far this way, then oh my God, she's disgusting. Look at how ugly
Well, they'll be
it
like,
is.
oh, he's
Look
super
at how
techie.
cute. Look at how cute her drift is. It's like it'll be stuff like that. It'll be So
He must have the new iGoogle phone glasses technology number 3.
Who's that?
If you see someone with a drifting eye, you're like, oh, that dude's badass. He's got the glasses.
All right. So Google Glasses. Another thing of my 3 things. I saw a movie last night when I got home. I couldn't. So get up from being trapped on a boat for hours. I didn't know what to do with myself.
Trapped on a boat. Most people are so excited to get onto a boat. It's middle of summer, 4th of July. Oh, we're going on a boat? You're trapped on one.
Probably some hot girls.
Yeah.
I know who he went there with. There's maybe a couple hot girls on board. Beer. Probably lots of beer and boobs and babes, and he's trapped.
I was trapped.
At Lake
awful.
Louisville, at the Party Cove. It's horrible.
Hot.
It was hot yesterday, man. And on the water, it reflects the sun, so it gets even hotter unless you're jumping in. I know Pugs. Pugs wasn't jumping in the lake.
No, if I had a jet ski, I'd be jet skiing. That's the only reason that when I used to go there every weekend, and that was because I was with a guy who had a yacht. It was like a condo underneath, so it really wasn't like being trapped anywhere.
That's sugar
He had a yacht, yeah, and he had Wayne, my buddy Wayne, the guy who was on the air with us the other day.
Okay.
And he had a bunch of jet skis. So we would go out there, we would just jet ski, and then we'd go like into the condo with the air conditioning and the big screen TV and play video games, and there was a bar down there. It was awesome. That's how to do it. And then like I went one other time because I had such great experiences that way that I went one other time with a friend, and him in a speedboat. I was like, no, this sucks. I'm totally trapped. I'm sunburning, dude. And his canopy was broken, so I couldn't even pull the canopy up. And
That's the worst.
And he had an umbrella. He's like, dude, you could just sit under the umbrella. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to be. I want to be your aunt sitting in the back of the cigarette boat.
I can see Pugs' face being so miserable, sitting in the corner by himself pouting.
Dude, I spent an hour just being a good sport and hanging out, and then
Could you take me back?
Yeah, and I spent the next 3 hours trying to find somebody to take me back.
Does anybody want to go play volleyball at Sneaky Pete's?
And I've never been back since
Until yesterday.
Until yesterday, yeah. And it was just to see people.
How many hours were you
I
out
hadn't
there?
seen in a while.
Give us a rundown.
It turned out to be
Well, time flies when you're having fun, I'm sure.
yeah. But it turned out to be, it was supposed to be, later in the afternoon, evening, into watching fireworks at night. So they're going to be out there at night, that whole deal. Well, people weren't showing up. People were coming from other things they were doing. So leaving at 3 turned into, well, let's just go hang out at the bar, over there at whatever bar that is, at that Pier 121, or if you know where that is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's go over to the bar there.
They got good pretzel burgers.
They got good everything. You
Yeah.
know what? Well, you know what? It's because you've been trapped on a boat, and you'll take anything at that point. But so that turned out to, drinking there for 3 hours with everybody, and then finally it was, well, we gotta get out because fireworks are gonna start, and then it was, so I don't know, 5, 6, like 3 hours out on the boat, maybe.
If you were to write that
And then
down,
like 3 hours of, hanging out.
Yeah.
if you were to write that down, I would have read that as somebody who was having a great time. But the tone of voice,
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to leave the bar. I was fine with that. It was just whenever I'm like, I seriously was going around to people, we could probably see the fireworks really good from right here.
Yeah. He's a half empty, half full. Some people are half empty. He was half
Right.
full. He was half empty actually.
I like that he's like secretly spreading the word that like this is the place to watch the fireworks.
Yeah, and then you say things like okay, like the captain Mark, right? Mark, the guy in charge. Like you'd say something like, hey, I heard Mark say that he'd rather not take the boat out at all. Would you be cool with that?
What's funny
And they're like,
is-
yeah, I don't care. We can stay here. And then I go to Mark. Hey, Mark, the girls don't really care if we take the boat out at all.
Hey, Pugs.
And then I win.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, and just be truthful about this. 5 years ago, much easier to pull all that off when you were Pugs on 105.3, wasn't it?
Pull all what off? I didn't
Pull the
play
whole,
that.
your little. Hey, I think that maybe this or I think your input might have went further. Did it go further back in the day?
Oh, everything went further
When
back
you
in the
suggested
day.
anything,
But
like,
no,
let's
it
just go inside Sneaky Pete's where it's air conditioned, hang out by the TVs. Like, oh yeah, let's go. Pugs wants to go. Let's all go there.
Yeah, well, it didn't work because we ended up out on the water, and that sucked. That was not fun.
If everything really went your way, you would have all just like basically set up shop just outside of the boat while it's docked.
Dude, if everything really went my way, I'd have been on my couch watching.
I was gonna say the same thing. He was in his
really-
apartment over off off of University.
If everything really went my way, see, maybe with Google Glasses, I could attend without attending.
See?
Something like
Virtual.
that. Yeah, why not? Because maybe somebody there got Google Glasses. Maybe I tuned my Google Glasses to their Google Glasses, and I sit on the
You could
couch.
have sent your assistant to wear your glasses and live the experience.
Right. See, that's
and had
what's
your
happening.
picture showing what's going on. Go, oh man, we're having a good time, man. We're partying while you're on the couch.
That's what's gonna happen.
That is what's gonna happen.
We're gonna be able to literally live vicariously. Well,
definitely.
through somebody else.
Because it's already set up to do like live networking. So like you can walk around, I can walk around, and we can be talking and looking at each other's point of view.
Sex is going to be one of the first
Hey
things
Jimmy,
they work
check out
on.
this maneuver I'm doing. You're watching some chicks getting banged. You know what I mean? Look at the boobs on this one.
Is this gay? are you seeing what I'm doing? Is this gay or is this all right?
Cool. I could have made y'all watch Magic Mike with me the other night.
Yeah, I've said it like a couple times with this. It's the second episode of Black Mirror. It basically like goes through that. And at one point, the guy knows that his girlfriend's been cheating on him, and they're having kind of makeup sex. And then at one point during it seems like all intimate. At one point during it, they're facing like away from each other, and you can see that their things have turned on, and they're both thinking about somebody else as they're having sex.
Yeah.
It's really creepy if you think about it, because I'm pretty sure that everybody is going to be doing that once it's that easy to do.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, sex is always one of the first things that once something gets invented, people figure out how to apply it to sex.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Because they know that's sex sells, you know? Yeah, that's Brandon. Yeah. You know, I mean, jeez. All right, I'll tell you what movie I saw, and we'll come back. We'll do some more casual conversation with Jimmy Ryan and Brandon Shaw, both joining me today here on PMS, the Pugs Moran Show. It's on thebarlive.com. All right, it's thebarlive.com PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Thursday afternoon. Joining me today is Brandon, Sunbrew Brandon. We broadcast here each and every day from the Sunbrew Summer Beach House located in sunny North Dallas, Texas. Jimmy Ryan is here. He's tweaking the knobs. Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Hey, man. Doing great.
All right. Now, I was teasing you before that break. I said that after my horrible lake experience, it's awful. Well, I'm just not in a good mood anyway. You know, I'm not like in a playful, have fun mood. I'm in a very eye of the tiger, sink or swim kind of mood. But I'm trying to be more positive. I'm trying to be like, I want to do like positive, good things. And so being around positive people I thought might be a nice thing.
Yeah. And then, it's this horrible mess. And I'm sure that, like, we could have, like, some, kids from Nigeria on the coast saying, look at that poor man. He's on a boat in the middle of 4th of July.
I know.
Who are the guests there? I mean, describe your client, the people there. Was it any hot girls?
Yeah, there was a lot of pretty.
It was
There's
a
probably
perfect
about 30.
situation.
Probably about 30 people. I mean, it was a big, giant pontoon barge kind of thing that
Like
they
the
got.
double decker with a slide on the back. You
Yeah,
slide off.
the big one.
Then you hit the slide.
Yesterday, I was out at Lake Louisville. We were on the coast without a boat. We were saying, how great would it be to be on a boat right now? Pugs was on a boat. Miserable.
I picture him his arms crossed, his head down, pouting, and Jimmy's other just looking like, "Aw, come pick me up."
I'll trade with you. Yeah, I'd be yelling from the boat. I'll trade with you.
Jimmy probably would have done that.
You want to know how bad this is? I once took a girl on a date in Chicago. They have these cruises because everything's like lakefront oriented in Chicago, especially during the summer. And they have these boats, like these dinner boats. You go, you have a nice dinner, and then they take you out for it's like a giant, actually it's like a mini cruise ship, but they're dinner cruises and all that. And then the boat just goes out in the middle of the bay. Well, it's not really a bay, the harbor there in Chicago, and it just kind of does donuts and gives you like sort of all the people on the boat a 360 nighttime view of like the city and then out to the lake. And oh my God, I hated it. Oh.
Again, this sounds great.
Oh, it was awful. I'm like, okay, because I thought, all right, so we'll go out, we'll have dinner. This is good. We're having some dinner, and then everything kind of, the lights get dark and it gets very romantic. And
this is a night thing.
Yes.
So no sun is
no, it's like
really
10 o'clock at night, on like a
Unbelievable.
Saturday night, a beautiful Saturday night in Chicago. And the boat is now doing donuts, while some band plays like some really nice, classy, Sinatra music or something.
Again, if you were writing this.
Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And I just remember thinking when it started to do the donuts to give people the 360 views, I remember thinking we completed one donut and I was like, that was awesome. Oh, we're going again. Oh, okay. I guess we're going to do it again. That's fine. I paid $55 for this, a ticket. So maybe we're going a third time. Oh, I guess we were out doing donuts for like 45 minutes.
Many people would appreciate the extra effort. Another rotation.
Yeah.
Get to see the place again.
Yeah, a lot of people enjoyed it. But
And how about who did you take with you?
just a girl that I was dating. It was just
And how did
before
she
I moved
like
to
it?
Dallas.
Did she like it?
She loved it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, she loved it. It was like a great day. It was a great idea.
When she noticed that you guys were going to do another rotation, was she saying, "Oh, can we
No,
just go
and to
home?"
be fair, I wasn't either. But I did run out of things to say pretty quick. I was like,
You know what would be
things
funny?
out.
I wish that the bar live was so big that it's one of those things where you kind of had to do whatever the bar live was doing, and I would
Like, what do you mean, like a dictatorship? Like, what do you mean?
No, like
Like, wouldn't
we're
it be cool if the bar live was as big as Hamas? That would be- where people just had to do, like, we say you got to go to a diner and blow it up, you got to go do it.
I'm talking about one of those things that you're paid so well that you had to kind of go wherever the people say, and like we're like, oh, we're having a company party over at the Lake Louisville next week. It's 100 degrees, and we're doing volleyball, picnicking, paper sack, was it paper sack? What's the sack races? Sack races.
It's whatever we call it these days.
Jimmy, I would intentionally plan a whole day based on his dislikes just
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch him have to
Sure.
pretend to love it.
No, I can be a sport. I can be a sport, and I can have fun. And if it's something that like I'm excited about, I can have fun with it.
You wouldn't have fun there though. It'd be everything you're against.
Yeah. You know what the problem is? I'll have fun at something. Never mind.
No. What do you mean, never mind?
Nothing. It's just I can have fun at things. I'm not a total stick in the mud. I'm just kind of in a bad mood lately.
I'm not saying you are. It's just certain things you don't like to do, which would be like outdoor type activities.
It's true. Yes, I'm not a big fan
And I just wish
of
that we were in a situation like I send you an invite and you feel like you're obligated to go, and it's all outdoor activities.
I like
Camping
mall.
trip.
I like mall weather. You know the weather inside a mall. That's my favorite
The
weather.
You know the climate you get?
The climate you get at Stonebriar, that is fantastic.
He loves the gallery because it's got the big open windows above you, so you feel like
Yeah.
you're outdoors even though you're indoors.
Totally live.
Look, it's raining.
Look, if there was any kind of like a weird thing with our atmosphere where we had to live in environments, I could live in an environment like a mall.
He could be a biodome.
Easily. Yes, easily.
Him and Pauly Shore.
Birds.
Stephen Baldwin.
Some malls have birds and trees.
They do. They've been always a
It'd be
trip.
nice.
Seems we're getting a cold front at Sears.
I want to step over to JCPenney's to cool off or to warm up.
All right. So I watched a movie last night when I came home. I watched that Project X. Anybody seen this movie?
Yeah.
No.
Oh wait, Project X. No.
You haven't seen this?
No.
Anybody heard of it?
I've heard of it.
My God, yeah. It's like every kid, every single one of your girls has seen this movie. I promise you that. It's one of those. It's like if you're 22 years old, this is like your Animal House. It's the story of these kids that throw a party, and the party gets out of control. And really, you don't know anything about this?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God! Yeah, like three nerds. It's like a total ripoff of a million other high school
Weird
party
Science.
movies. Yeah, Weird Science, Risky Business, Can't Hardly Wait. I mean, there's just the Empire Records. I mean, there's just a ton of these kinds of movies. It was all right. It was this generation. It was shot sort of like the Blair Witch Project, like it was a documentary on Handycam about how this party got out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty all right. But apparently the thing is about this movie. See, here's the thing. Okay, so this kid's parents go out of town, and of course they don't trust him, and they say you can have a few friends over, but don't do anything to embarrass me, son, because up until this point in your life, you've been a proper son who's made me a proud father, and you've never done anything wrong, so I'm trusting you. And oh, son, by the way, don't touch my car. How many times have we seen that in a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You know, I was making fun of Magic Mike for the cliches that were, you could see it, but God, come on. Son, don't touch the car. And it's like some fantastic like Benz that's like in perfect condition, and the dad knows every little thing
Ferris
about
Bueller.
it. Yeah, Ferris
The
Bueller.
Ferrari.
Oh, come on. Let's go to Risky Business. Let's go to every movie where a kid threw a party. One of the big problems for the dad was, don't touch my car. You know, that whole thing.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day, though. Like, it's kind of hard to come up with, like, new things. Like, the thing that always drives me nuts is, like, when there's a really good premise for a movie, but then it's all based around a love story. And I'm like, you didn't need to throw in the love story. But then
Right. It's the romantic subplot that ruins everything.
Yeah, but then I started thinking, like, there's really nothing that's easy to go to other than that. Like, if I'm trying to come up with, like, something that's a really good sci-fi thriller, but I also need to bring in, like, the normal audience, it has to be some dumb subplot.
It does.
But
You've got
see-
no. Here's what it is. They can hook guys if you're talking about sci-fi or war films, action movies, because they do it a lot in action movies. They know that they can hook the guys. They know if they have car chases and things blowing up, that the guys will come out and see that. However, they also recognize that a lot of times guys are going to be dragging their girlfriends, and you got to give the girlfriends
Give him a little something.
Got to give them a little
Give him
something.
a little loving.
And that's how Meg Ryan gets roles. And that's how Sandra Bullock gets roles. And right now, that's how that Malin Ackerman gets roles. I mean, that's basically that character is created in every guy movie so that girls, the girlfriends of the guys in the audience, will have something to watch.
Basically, the premise of Magic Mike. They had a badass car they bought, and at the end, it got a love interest going.
Yeah.
it's
So
about.
anyway, Project X, of course, so one of the kids, and this is always the case too, the kid who's throwing the party is, the one that's like, okay, guys, just nobody inside the house, and we're going to keep it to 40 people, and no more. But then he's always got a best friend who's like a street hustler.
Right.
Who's got everything. He's got the kegs coming. He's got the girls coming from the strip club. He's got this. He's got that. He's working Facebook. He's, on Craigslist. He's got people showing up. So basically the party gets ridiculously out of control. Ridiculously. Like any high school party movie you've ever seen, forget about it.
Really?
I mean, there's police helicopters in the air. The entire neighborhood is in flames. This party got way out of control. Project X. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Good?
Well, yeah, because here's why. Here's why it was so good. Because I'm distracted by all the cliches and all the things that I've seen in these movies over and over again. But then, man, they just kept flooring it, man. They were like at 140, then 150, then 160. And I'm like, come on. This party can't get any more out of control. And then they're over 200. And I'm like, oh my God, the gas mains in the neighborhood are breaking. They're blowing up. Everything's blowing. The whole damn neighborhood is blowing up. It was cool. It was pretty cool.
I'm going to have to watch it then. Why not?
But here's the problem with this movie, and it's getting a lot of controversy, especially now that it's out on DVD. They're afraid that it's going to happen even more.
They all took bath salts.
High school, no, but yeah, all the drugs, it was going on. I mean, it was crazy. This party was insane. Like, they showed this thing, like, the next morning. Like, like, all the news coverage of it, and, like, you know, they had a clip of Ryan Seacrest talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I heard Kanye West showed up. And he probably did, because the party was so crazy and out of control that it was insane. So, but the problem is that high school kids are now throwing their own Project X parties. They're finding these foreclosed homes, and they're putting them out on Facebook, and they're putting them out on Twitter, and they're using Craigslist, and they're just trying to throw these massive parties. And the whole idea of Project X, the movie, was that they were going to throw the most legendary, over-the-top party of all time. And now you've got regular high school kids who have seen the movie who are now trying to throw their own legendary high school parties of all time.
Hey, I'm all for it, man.
I say go for it. Yeah, man. Did you ever hear my story about my craziest high school party I've ever been to?
No.
I've told it on the air a couple of times. Brandon, did I ever tell you about this?
No.
All right. So hold on. Let me pull up Project X first. I'm working at this burrito place, right?
At the mall?
Yeah. Well, strip mall. I'm working at Burrito Bandito. With
Oh, jeez.
yeah,
I picture this.
Burrito Bandito with my friend Mike Vogt. Now, Mike Vogt, he went to Lincoln Way, and I went to Andrew. They were two different high schools. But Mike heard about this big party that was going on, and we're closing up Burrito Bandito, and he's like, man, why don't you come to this party? And I'm like, yeah, Mike, dude, I'd love to, but, I'm not from there, and let me get a couple of my buddies to come with me, just in case, because whenever you go to a different high school, you want to make sure you're not going alone.
Stuff goes down,
exactly.
Yeah.
Just because teenagers get drunk and they turn into dicks. So he's like, yeah, no, it won't be that kind of a problem. And I knew I'd probably be all right walking in with him because he was like Mr. Illinois basketball. He went on to play at Indiana. He's a big popular kid who I worked at the Burrito Bandito with. So anyway, we go to this party. And by the time I get there with my friends, I got to tell you who the party was. It was at Dina DeYoung's house.
Not Dina's.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Now, why do you know Dina DeYoung? Because her dad is Dennis DeYoung, the lead singer of Styx. You know, the rock band Styx?
Okay.
So this was at the Styx mansion, which was, in our neighborhood.
Wow.
So everybody's very excited, right? So we get there, and basically what happened was we could not get into the cul-de-sac where the house was located, the Styx mansion, because there was a house in flames, and there were fire trucks there, and there was a keg on the lawn, and there were a bunch of kids singing the roof is on fire.
Wow.
Now, here's what happened with this particular party. This was not the Styx mansion that was on fire. Apparently, the party was never taking place at the Styx mansion, and that's just what we call it. It was just a regular house. It was a nice house in a nice neighborhood, but, wasn't like some crazy Beverly Hills, billionaire's house. But it was a very nice, like a Highland Park house, not excessively, grandiose. It's not like 30,000 square feet. It was a very nice old home. Probably, back in 1986, probably worth, $1 million easily. Yeah. Today, probably $5 million, but whatever, a beautiful home. Apparently, the next door neighbor was a slow kid, right? And Dennis DeYoung, the lead singer of Styx, was on Broadway doing some play on Broadway. So the whole family was there, and the family took the neighbors who lived next door. And the DeYoung chick was left in charge of the neighbor's slow autistic kid who lived next door.
Oh, wow.
And she promoted a party as, everyone thought they were going to Dina DeYoung's party. No, it was next door at the slow autistic kid's house, and they burned the house down.
Oh,
while the parents of the house that was on fire was in New York watching the father of the girl who burned the house down on Broadway.
Unbelievable.
How funny is that? I mean, it was a big local news story, too. I mean, they talked because there was a celebrity involved and somebody's house got damaged. And
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so we never got into that party. But that was kind of one of these Project X kind of deals.
Cool.
I don't even know how the fire started. But I will never forget the scene of a bunch of firemen doing their job, working hard, trying to save this beautiful home, and a bunch of drunk high school football players on the lawn with a keg singing the roof is on fire.
But at your parties growing up, and this is for both.
Oh wait, and then the other thing, the slow kid that got talked into having the party, he apparently went missing. He just took off and ran. I mean, nothing ever happened to him. I remember he resurfaced eventually.
He never got found.
But I remember that being a big thing. Has anyone seen that dude? No, man, he just took off. He just bolted.
You ever at parties growing up? Where I grew up, it was a rough neighborhood, but how many times you been at parties where people did drive-bys and shootings and all that stuff went down?
Never. No,
not even once.
I've never been at a party. No.
Jimmy?
No.
Not once. It is so weird when you grow up in different areas, the difference of your party. You're going to mansions. I'm going to parties where, oh crap, they're driving by, their lights off, run inside.
No,
and I'll never forget the time I got locked out of. I was at a party I shouldn't have been at, but some girls knew some guys, so we stopped by. And I was the kind of guy that could luckily go to almost anywhere and not have trouble. But I was keeping to myself because I had no business being at this party for the most part. And man, everybody ran inside, and somehow I got stuck on the damn porch, and there's this boom, 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 boom. I'm like, holy cow, dude, what the hell? You know what I mean? I was, but yeah, that happened all the time, dude.
Sure, I wouldn't go to those parties. Maybe that's why it never happened to me.
Yeah,
I stayed away from the kind of parties that would have those kinds of people.
No, any party where I grew up, though, there was a high school party.
Yeah.
A shooting could happen at any moment.
That's
just
crazy.
It didn't matter if it was an all-white party. It doesn't matter. It could happen.
Did you have
at
a
any
mix?
moment.
Was your school mixed?
Mixed. It was mainly at the time I went there. It was mainly black, 90% maybe, 7% Hispanic, and then 3% of everything else mixed. But now it's mainly, I think, Hispanic. It kind of turned more Hispanic.
Wow.
But yeah, I grew up in freaking the ghetto, dude.
What about you? What about your high school, Jimmy? What high school did you go to?
I went to Louisville, and it's pretty well mixed. But,
Farmers.
Yeah.
We had one black kid in my high school. One black kid the whole 4 years.
No, I mean we were pretty diverse. I mean, so there was always
one and a half black kids. There was a black kid who was adopted by an Italian family, and his name was real Italian, but he was a black kid.
What's interesting is back in those days, which is 20-something years ago, it seemed like there were certain sections. And now Dallas has gotten really diverse. Period. No matter where you're at, there's a nice diversion of people.
When I moved down here 10 years ago, I was shocked at the diversity in this town. I was shocked. Where I come from, if you live in a neighborhood where there is one, all right, here's how the neighborhood would be. You would have 10 homes on a block. All 10 of those homes would be white people. There is no
no mixture.
There is no mixture. There isn't.
It's well diversified now.
There are black neighborhoods. There are Hispanic neighborhoods. There are Asian neighborhoods. There are white neighborhoods. But even the white neighborhoods, you have the German neighborhoods, the Italian neighborhoods. I mean, it's I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but I was shocked when I moved here to Dallas and I started to recognize it. Oh my God, I got an Indian neighbor across the street. I got a black guy living next door. I go, this is some melting pot going on up here.
We had at my high school, check this out, and I don't know the history to be exact, but I know for a fact that we were the first high school in the state of Texas to have metal detectors, but we might have been one of the first high schools in the southern part of the U.S. to have metal detectors. This is back in 1990. And we had a teacher get shot in a gang fight in the hallway.
Jeez.
And so
we never had anything like that.
Oh, dude, we had national news. We had Chinese people from not from the U.S., from Chinese or from China doing broadcasts at our school for a month straight. We had TV crews there every day. And,
I love that. Hey, Jimmy, somewhere there's Chinese propaganda profiling his high school classes. Look at these Americans. Look how decadent they are.
Crazy. But here's
Brandon's class representing all of us.
Pictures of Brandon running out of the school.
This is Brandon Shaw.
Crazy white boy.
Look at him. He had not even on straight.
He's gang affiliated.
Look at him. Yeah.
Crazy gang.
Thank you.
But
that was our Chinese broadcaster characters. We'll be doing them from time to time.
What we had, though, was after that, we already had problems because at this point in 1990, everybody was in gangs. No matter if you belonged in a gang or not, you were in them because it was a popular thing to do, okay? And so what happened was after that shooting happened, you could not cruise to school more than one time if your guys had more than one person in your car. They would pull you over automatically. They had 4 marked cop cars at each corner. Just picture a big rectangle at each
Did
corner.
that hold you guys back that you couldn't cruise the school more than one time?
No, you say that, but I'm from an area that was what you did, man. We weren't very wealthy. Like, it was a cool thing to do. You cruise the school for chicks or whatever. I don't know. It's just what you did. But
So you did you have any rich kids in your school at all? Or were they by relative association they were rich? Like, maybe they wouldn't be rich if they were in Frisco.
Yes,
but
we had what. It was so funny, man.
So, like, was the rich kid?
They had the new car that was like 3 years old.
So the dad who was the car salesman, the really effective car salesman.
We
but
the
not
girl
the guy
I dated,
who owned,
my ex-girlfriend was like that. Her dad worked at Volvo.
But you didn't have the guy who owned like 5 dealerships.
God,
kids.
no. We had the guy that owned the auto tent dealership up the street on Buckner. We had those kind of people.
Growing up with rich kids is a beating. I bet you had that in Louisville, right? There were some kids that were rich and then some kids that were normal.
Not as much like at Louisville. It was really weird because Louisville and Flower Mound are so close that Flower Mound was kind of considered the rich part, and then Louisville was like the not so rich part.
Yeah.
So like you definitely notice whenever you go to like the weekend parties and it would like mix, and all of a sudden you'd have kids pulling up in Hummers, and then me and my Civic.
Didn't you always get excited when the party was in the rich part of town?
Oh yeah,
Because it was
always
better. It was just gonna be a better party.
But it also meant that we were gonna act like absolute asses. Like it was always gonna be somebody from
Because
Louisville.
you're from the
that
wrong
did
side of the
something.
tracks.
Yeah, so like every single time it would be somebody from Louisville that started a big bonfire or something. Yeah.
Our version of a rich kid, though, would be the kid that their parents had an up-to-date car.
Yeah.
Not a Mercedes or nothing, but an up-to-date car.
A new car.
And they had a car that was a few years old.
Because you had friends whose dads had pieces of crap.
We all drove. Dude, that
Right.
was a big deal. You drove a piece of crap. That's my car, like I said, my parking lot for my school was rectangular also, so it went with the shape of the school. I could pull up 30 minutes late to school like I did almost every day and park in the front row. Okay, no problem. And I had a car that was probably, I don't know, 5 years old, and it was considered a nice Chevy. I paid $3,500 for this truck, and it was considered really nice. Like,
Sure.
That's a nice truck. Then I went to another school in Garland or Lakeview by the lake. Total opposite, dude. My school was the opposite shape, so there's only a few spots in the front of the parking lot, and it went long ways. I'd get there 5 minutes late and had to park like at the end of the freaking parking lot, dude. There's like 700 cars there.
Because all the kids had cars.
All the kids, and there's a couple cars like brand new Eclipses, brand new Honda Preludes, like brand new. Like these are with the spoilers,
Yeah.
not the cheap ones, the nice ones. I'm like, what the hell, dude? And it was just so different. There's probably 80 cars in my parking lot at my first high school, or there's probably like 600 at my other high school.
There was probably in my graduating class of 1987, and my high school was in split areas. The general area that I was in was considered a nice area, Orland Park, that area of the Chicago suburbs or South Side. It was considered a nice area, but there were pockets where it was, middle class. But then there were also, neighborhoods where the houses were $2 million and people in sticks lived and Major League Baseball players lived, so there was that kind of thing going on as well. But I can remember the big car at my high school, every douchebag dude, and a lot of them were my friends, but we had more Mustangs than anything else. It's
That was the car to have.
Every guy, a lot of guys got any car they wanted. Like they'd get their 16th birthday and they'd go, "Daddy, give me this," because that's what little rich bitches are like. And they all went with Mustangs, 5.0.
5.0. Hell yeah, 5.0 was some Dayton. I don't know if you got Daytons, but in my neighborhood, the drug dealers and all the guys that spent every dollar they had on the car would drive a Mustang, and boy, you'd put some Daytons on those things, man. Oh my good. And then of course, Vanilla Ice had the song, "Roll into my 5.0." That was the car to have. That was a pimp car, dude. If you had a 5.0,
that was the car. I always
rolling.
hated them. I didn't like them. There was one guy that had like one of those Buick Grand Nationals. Do you remember those? Thought that thing was badass. That was awesome. It was faster than any Mustang out there. Just that was you were making it. You were making it. If you were in my high school, you were driving around in one of those Mustang 5.0s.
Yeah.
The best car that went to my school, this kid, and he wasn't a wealthy kid, but somehow he scored a brand new Beretta. Do you remember the Beretta?
Sure, yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
the Chevy
goodness.
Beretta.
Such a cool car. It came like the rims that kind of matched and the spoiler. It was probably like a $10,000 car.
I don't even know what cars cost back
But
then.
it was like $10,000 brand new, but it was so badass.
Yeah.
It was a high-end cheap car.
I didn't know
Cheap car.
anybody. This is going back to the 80s. Maybe these cars exploded, but there wasn't one supposed rich kid in my high school that had any kind of an import. There wasn't nobody had a BMW in the late 80s. Nobody had a Mercedes. Nobody had something like that. I mean, there was a kid who had a Cadillac. You know, there was a girl who had a Cadillac Cimarron. If you remember that, that was like the small kind of Cadillac. But then really, you know, that might just be a difference between up there and down here. I didn't really see the explosion of BMWs and German import cars and all that until I moved to Dallas. I'd never seen, I tell people all the time, I'd never seen a Ferrari in real life until I moved to Dallas.
It is kind of crazy how you'll see these ridiculously expensive cars.
Car culture is insane down here.
Yeah.
Car culture. I mean, I had never seen a Ferrari, a Lamborghini here. You go out on a Saturday night, you'll see multiple Lamborghinis in all different parts of town. Like, yeah, all right, if you're partying in Chicago and you're on the Gold Coast on a Saturday night at some of the clubs, yes, you will see Lamborghinis and all that. But it's like here, you can be in Addison partying on a Thursday night and a Lamborghini will pull up.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, holy cow. This is car culture. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Again, Project X, I recommend it. I thought it was funny because, you know, the party just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and crazy. And all right, Project X, it's not bad. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's thebarlive.com, PMS, Pugs Moran Show. All right, it is the barlive.com PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Thursday afternoon, July 5th, 2012. Happy 236th birthday in one day. 236 years ago in one day. Today. Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Jimmy?
It's a good run.
I mean, it's a good run.
Yeah.
236 years. It's not bad. Yeah. Although we haven't been dominant that whole time. There were some struggles early on.
No, and that's one of the things that a lot of people will say is that you've been, they say that the longest running one was the Roman Empire, and that was like just short of 200 years.
Yeah.
So our time is running out, but we haven't been an empire that entire time. So.
No, not since the end of World War II.
Yeah.
That's when we really stepped up and went, the late 40s, 50s. Once we dropped the bomb, that's when we became the empire.
Yes, we took the role of empire.
We took it. We said, this is ours. But, I told you I've been watching these John Adams miniseries from HBO.
Uh-huh.
Something that I just always bothers me. Do you remember... Do you remember when we were all supposed to hate France? Are we all supposed to still hate France?
I never really understood it in the first place, but yeah, I guess so. I hear people say that.
Remember freedom fries and
Yeah.
all of that? Why did we turn on France?
I never fully understood it.
And then I always sort of got bent out of shape when you'd hear somebody say, we bailed them out in World War II. They'd all be speaking German if it wasn't for us. Do they fail to realize that, okay, that makes us even?
Right.
It's like the French don't owe us jack shit because we'd all be speaking with British accents if it wasn't for the French. They're the ones who came to our rescue in 1776 and provided us with an army for George Washington to lead.
Yeah, and
the French bailed us out, man. The French really helped us.
Yeah, I've never understood it, and we just need to stop taking responsibility for history. If we weren't part of it,
it didn't happen.
I like that people have selective, memory whenever it comes to this, because they'll take credit for World War II and getting rid of Hitler, but they won't say that they were a racist, human owner. They weren't doing that.
No.
But they weren't slave owners, but they definitely helped help out the Jews in World War II.
Let's look at it like this. Let's look at it like it's three people. Okay, it's like a relationship. You got America, you got England, and then you got France, right? Mm-hmm. Now, America and England, they were a couple, right? We were a couple, and then America wanted to break up. So America broke up with England and ran off to France. They ran to France and said, please help me, France. Help me get England. I want to leave him. He's abusing me or whatever, that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So France basically lets America stay there, crash on France's couch for a couple of weeks.
We were sending flirty text messages with France.
Well, yeah. But it's like, and also, America, we're using France now just to get England jealous because England hates France.
Hey, France, I think I may leave her.
Yes!
I think I may leave England for, here pretty soon.
Seriously,
so.
that's like what was going on.
Yeah.
So then we decide that we need to leave England, so we start banging France, and France is like, oh, got our back, and France is tough, and France is like, don't you worry about England, baby. Don't you worry about England, hot little America. We're going to take care of you. And then here we are 236 years later, and it's completely flipped back. We've gone back to England. They're now our best friend again. And France is like some dirty whore that we can't believe that we spent some time with. But when we needed France, we ran to France.
Yeah.
And now we have to call them freedom fries. Actually, we don't. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And I'm just being reminded of it by watching all of this founding father stuff.
I have a feeling that most of the people that say, F the French also have no idea that where the Statue of Liberty came from. No clue. Yeah. I would imagine that those are much the same people.
Well. Look, I'm not crazy about the French. I think they're snobby and all that, but you gotta give it to them. Paris is pretty nice. They got a pretty nice country over there.
Well, and if I do remember,
good stuff.
If I do remember right, it was when we were trying to make a legitimate concern out of Iraq. So France was like, well, we're not really all that into this idea, and then that's when we were like, yeah, well, so are you.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
It was like when we were all gung-ho on the weapons of mass destruction, France was like, no, we can't go with you on this because we're looking at the same information and we disagree with the diagnosis.
Right.
We, France, don't think they have anything. We're like, screw you. You're not going to support us. Then screw you. And then we went in there and we did the war, and then after it was all over, we went, Figure that. There was no weapons. France was right all along. We don't have a right to be mad at them. They were right.
They're good guy France.
They're good guy France. That's
Yeah.
right. No, because good guy France would have gone in with us.
No, good guy France was trying to tell you the right thing to do. Hey, don't do it, man. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
That's what good guy
and
France
then he
does.
stayed on the side smoking his toy. He's like, well, I tried to tell him.
Tried to tell you guys. But now everybody's mad at good guy France.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You know, it's hard to be good guy France, though. You know, sometimes.
They weren't totally cool during the revolution. I mean, they really made people like John Adams and Thomas Jefferson really get on their knees.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, at the end of the day, they helped us out.
Yeah.
They helped us out. And then we helped them out with Napoleon and all that. Well, we did something to help them. I'm not sure. We did something. We know we did something in World War II. Because we know that they'd all be speaking German if it wasn't for us.
That's the story I've been told.
It's the story I've heard my whole life. Damn French. Oh, well. So how do we get on that subject?
I'm not sure how we got onto the French.
Oh, we were talking about 4th of July.
No.
And how watching the John Adams miniseries about the Founding Fathers and the Continental Congress and all that reminded me that maybe we shouldn't be so hard on the French. Because when we really needed them, they stepped up. And they stepped up in force. They were like the cavalry for us. We were getting our butts kicked. And then suddenly it's like, here comes France. And England was like, oh, shit. Oh, man. You know, because it was
Things
like.
got serious.
Because England had fought France a lot. That's all they did was fight. So they didn't want to fight. You know, they're like, France had England's number. England had France's number. You know?
Was France considered a democracy back then?
I don't know, they had kings and stuff. It was just before that.
Okay.
See, the French people were inspired by our revolution.
Right.
And that's when La Marseillaise and all of that, and Robespierre, and, you know, off with their heads. And then Napoleon came to power, and Napoleon was supposed to be a man of the people, and, you know, supposed to be a democracy dude, but he turned out to be a dictator. And yeah, so it was French's revolution. Actually, you know what? When was the French Revolution? I want to say it was like 1790s, 1780s.
So like shortly after. Yeah, I was just wondering because I knew I had always heard that Norway and England were the first only two democracies to ever declare war on each other.
What were they?
Norway and England. It was during
When did they do that?
during World War II. It was during negotiations. They never actually ended up doing anything, but they quote unquote declared war on each other. So yeah.
Yeah,
I was
let's
wondering
see.
if that was wrong.
I know the French were inspired by us. That's why the French flag is red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Because they used like our whole thing. Let's see here. The French. When did I say it was?
Late 1700s.
Yeah, it was, the French Revolution was 1789 to 1799. Was a period of radical social and political upheaval in France that had a major impact on France and throughout the rest of Europe. The absolute monarchy that had ruled France for centuries collapsed in 3 years. French society underwent an epic transformation as feudal, aristocratic, and religious privileges evaporated. All right. So yeah, so they were inspired by us. They sort of, they helped us. Their government helped us.
Yeah, so you're welcome, France. No, I just always.
You know what? Seriously. Okay, so work it out this way. So we need help with the English. So we go and get the French. And the French go, oh, you know, they're all like aristocratic and stuff. Like, okay, we'll help you, but we want this and that and that. So then France helps us, and we become free. And then the French people are like, hey, we want to be free like them. And then the French people throw out the people that helped us initially.
Yeah,
Inspired by us.
it's pretty nice.
We kind of screwed the people in charge of France. I mean, if you wanted to, we didn't screw the French people. We liberated or showed the French people how they could liberate themselves. But we screwed over the actual monarchs in France that bailed us out against England.
Yeah, the guys that made the decision,
Yeah, we
they
screwed
regretted
them.
that. Yeah.
They screwed them. But the people of France, after a couple of years, they were cool with it. Because there was a lot of beheadings and all that. It was bloody for a while.
But came out on the other end.
Came out all right.
Red, white, and blue.
They dug Napoleon for a while. He almost conquered the world. He made him the most powerful nation on earth.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, there you have it. All right. That's like a schoolroom segment we did today, where we talked about France.
Every once in a while, I do just like to, because I do think it's kind of mindless. I like to just mindlessly jump on the bandwagon where we just hate a country for the sake of hating it.
Okay, who do you want to hate?
You know what? Let's go with I don't know. I like Sweden too much, but it'd be fun to poke fun at Sweden.
Sweden?
Yeah.
But Norway. How about something up there? Something like Norway.
Yeah.
Is Norway in the news enough?
I don't know, but we could get them in there.
We could do, yeah.
I mean, like, really, there's always news, so we could just pick and choose the worst news from Norway.
Sure, and every day we'll do, oh, did you see it? And we'll present it like it's mainstream top story breaking news.
This is all that goes on in Norway.
See what happened in Norway again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's hate on Norway. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. I wanted to talk about this. We were talking about HBO movies, and you don't have HBO, right?
No, not really. I got the internet, so
I'm surprised
that
because you like good things, and HBO in their original programming has just a sterling reputation for everything that they do.
Well, if it's really good, then that means that there's seeders on torrent sites.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't usually. If HBO had a service where I could pay $10 a month and get it online, I would do it, and that's what a lot of people are petitioning them to do. But then they would lose their exclusive contracts with the cable companies, so they won't do it. So as long as they make their content hard to get, then I'm not going to be.
Well,
bothered.
they got that new HBO Go or something.
Yeah, you have to have a cable subscription. I'm not going to be paying for an entire cable subscription just
to
for
watch
HBO.
it on just to watch it on the internet. That's more for people who have it, who maybe TV's broke.
Right. Yeah.
on those rare occasions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, HBO, they've got a great reputation as far as their original programming, and more to the point, what I really like is I love their original feature films, the original movies that they make. I mean, stuff like From Earth to the Moon. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was spectacular. What else did they do? Bullets Over Baghdad, or Bombs Over Baghdad, which is what I told you to watch, which was the story of how CNN broke the story of the bombing of Baghdad during Desert Storm. Just recently, what was the Sarah Palin movie? Didn't you see this? That was just recently out. That was awesome. About how you remember when it came out, right?
I remember hearing about it. Yeah.
It was from the book. I forgot what the book was called, but that was really good. They did a really good movie about the Gore Bush recount in Florida. Recall. That movie was called Recall. That was awesome. I mean, all their movies are good. You know who they're targeting now at HBO? They're going to do a movie about Roger Ailes and Fox News.
I was gonna say France,
Norway.
Yeah.
It says here, exclusive, HBO appears obsessed by GOP conservatives. There have been movies about the 2000 Bush-Gore election standoff and Sarah Palin, and most recently a TV series featuring George W. Bush's severed head. All right, see, now that's unfair. That's some real, they're taking some real license with the facts there. Remember, we covered that story.
Yeah.
They're trying to say that HBO has an axe to grind against George Bush, and they're using as examples the fact that they did, or conservatives in general, I should say, not George Bush, but they're using as an example the fact that they made a movie about the Florida recount, which, somebody was going to make a movie on that. Are you kidding me? And then they made a movie about Sarah Palin as well. Well, all right, so what? Hey, you know what else HBO has done? HBO had just did an amazing documentary on George Herbert Walker Bush, 41. Fantastic. An absolutely spectacular documentary about George Herbert Walker Bush. So it's not everything they do. This isn't like anti-conservative or anything. But, in the George W. Bush's severed head on Game of Thrones, we explained that. We talked about that when it came out, and we talked about how the right was trying to use that as an example of how HBO has some sort of anti-conservative bias. No, it was a prop.
Producer said that he wishes it could have been George W. Bush's head, but
Yes, but the fact of the matter is that yes, a wax head that had been used in some other HBO production as a model of George W. Bush was dressed up to look like a goth or a Visigoth or whatever, a Mongol, a horde, and his head was cut off and put on a stake. It wasn't supposed to be George Bush. It's just that somebody noticed that it looked like him, and then they admitted, yeah, we used an old Bush prop head and dressed it up like a Middle Ages guy.
it was so hard to even distinguish that was his face. Anyway, I mean, like, even knowing it, it was such a quick shot. So many different heads.
That is not a story that someone saw, was offended by, and was reported. That is a story that was given to somebody by somebody who works in the prop department, because nobody would have ever even noticed that had they not been given a heads up that it's there. So that's unfair. It says here they're making a new movie, an as yet untitled Roger Ailes project. Now, do you know who Roger Ailes is?
I don't.
Okay, so that's why Roger Ailes is the guy responsible for Fox News. Roger Ailes created Fox News. Rupert Murdoch. He went to Rupert Murdoch with this idea. He was before that. He was a conservative strategist. He had worked for the Reagan administration. He also worked for George Herbert Walker Bush. I believe he worked for Bob Dole. And after that, he went to Rupert Murdoch and he said, I'm out there and I see this populist conservative movement going on, and I think that we can actually go to them. And then HBO's making a movie about that. HBO's making a movie about how Fox News came to be, how they hired Bill O'Reilly, the incidents with Glenn Beck. I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what it's all about. Is it coming out this weekend, or?
No, they haven't even shot it yet.
Oh, okay.
No, it says here, let's see here. It's based on the upcoming manuscript by media writer Gabriel Sherman, who has written 2 cover stories for the New York Magazine on Ailes and Fox News, including his mammoth article, which I recently read. You should read this article, The Elephant in the Green Room. It's from the New Yorker. No, I'm sorry, it's from New York Magazine. But you Google search it and just save it and read it the next time you have a nice bowel movement. It is a fascinating article, and it centers around Roger Ailes firing Glenn Beck when Glenn Beck had to leave Fox TV. It's fascinating. It's called The Elephant in the Green Room. It says that article came out a little more than a year ago and prompted complaints from the Fox News CEO last year. Sherman has signed on with a book contract with Random House, which at one point was tentatively titled The Loudest Voice in the Room, an Inside Account of the Rise of Fox News, but isn't formally titled that now. I've also learned that executive producing this latest HBO project are 2 of Ailes' competitors, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, the former MSNBC Morning Joe co-hosts.
Wait, are they? Is she not still the co-host? I mean, not that I really care. I hated that show, but Mika.
Oh, I said former. Yeah, it doesn't say former. I'm sorry. Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, the co-host of MSNBC's Morning Joe. The deal was negotiated by WME Entertainment, the Hollywood agency run by Ari Emanuel, who is the basis for the character of Ari Gold in Entourage, Ari Emanuel, and also the brother of Chicago Mayor and former White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel. That's a famous family. That's a family with, and their other brother, 3 brothers. One's the most powerful agent in Hollywood. One's the mayor of the city of Chicago and formerly Obama's right-hand man. And the third is like some world-famous brain surgeon. You think the Emanuel mother is proud?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's almost as if you know people, it's gonna help you out.
I don't know what you mean by that. You want to elaborate?
Well, it just seems like when you find somebody who's like really, really famous. Like for instance, we were talking about CNN yesterday, and then we were able to basically talk about each person and how they're directly attached to money. Or they're directly attached
Anderson
to
Cooper, Aaron Burnett.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not. You never find like Dave. Oh, he was running a cornfield. It got shut down. Now he's running CNN like in the mornings.
Well, no.
Yeah.
But of course you wouldn't find that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have some high-level experience to get these kinds of high-level positions.
Right, but it's also why I'm never really blown away when I find out that they're all related to each other.
You want to know how this starts? Like, you want to know how, like, you look at an Anderson Cooper and you find out he's a Vanderbilt, and you're like, oh, well, I wonder how he got his start. And someone like Aaron Burnett, whose father was a huge Republican donor back in the day. She comes from mega wealth in Maryland. And you wonder, you know where it all changes? When they're about 17, 18 years old and they're deciding what they want to do with their life, and they go to their mommy or their daddy, and then their mommy and their daddy go, let's see, who do we know at the very top of that industry that we can fast track you?
Yeah.
And that's what they do. Mm-hmm. It's like Anderson Cooper got an internship at ABC News when he was 17 years old because his mom, Gloria Vanderbilt, picked up the phone and called Barbara Walters. That is a break.
Right.
That is a break.
Yeah. So yeah, it is kind of inevitable that they're all going to be related to each other at some point. I mean, all kind of be in the same circles.
And who knows? Aaron Burnett's dad probably played golf with the owner of ABC or whatever, something like that, and got her fast tracked.
She did come out of nowhere. I mean, the year before that, she was...
And at such a young age.
Yeah.
It's like, where did she pay her dues?
I mean, she was only doing like 6 months at MSNBC as a stock correspondent, and then that was it.
And that was it? And then she got fast tracked over to CNN with her own show?
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good for her. I'm not a hater because, look, whatever. I think she does a good job.
I think she does too. I'm not saying that it means that it always means that you're going to have a lesser quality person on the air, but it does mean that you shouldn't be surprised when they all know each other and go to each other's birthday parties.
Right. They're all at the same bars. They hang out at the same places. They golf at the same country clubs. They summer in the same Hamptons location. Yeah, they all know each other. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to go over some fireworks stuff. Did you hear about what happened in San Diego?
No.
Big fireworks display. Oh. Not so great. We'll talk about that. that, plus some other things that happened yesterday, plus, yeah, we'll do more. It's the PMS show. Pugs Moran for a Thursday afternoon with Jimmy Ryan on thebarlive.com. All right, it's thebarlive.com, PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Thursday afternoon, July 5th of 2012. I'm Pugs Moran. Jimmy Ryan is here. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, man.
And Brandon from Sunbrew is back with us. His mic's not on. There we go. Trying to pull up the story. I wanted to mention this. Every big city in America had their celebration, their big 4th of July celebration. I got to see a bunch from a bunch of different cities. All right, so you want to know what cities' celebrations I watched last night?
What's that?
All right, NBC had New York. All right, so we saw that. Saw that it was prime time, live from Manhattan, whatever. Katy Perry. Boy, that Katy Perry's something. You like that Katy Perry?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Man, she is awesome. She
Also
really
very
is.
smart. Very smart.
Everything about her is awesome, except for her overly crazy Bible thumper parents, who I think that her entire act is all just one big rebellion against being brought up that way. Because she was really raised in a hardcore, stifling environment. And then her first song is I Kissed a Girl.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, you guys looked at me as if I was supposed to say something there. I do remember that her parents were really pissed off about that
She's
first
smoking
song.
hot. She's smoking hot. She's just cute. She's hot and cute.
Very cute.
But her body is hot. And it's like this really cute, adorable, kissable face on this like really smoking bombshell body. That's a good mix. And she's kind of got the throwback thing to like the 1940s glamour look.
Yes, she has that look, which is nice.
Yeah. It's nice sometimes. Some girls can't pull it off. Some girls look stupid, or it's like, ugh. But other girls make that work for them. And Katy Perry's definitely one. All right, so I saw New York. I saw Washington, D.C. on Fox News. They showed the Washington, D.C. ones. Then on the Planet channel, or whatever channel that is, they were doing it from Philly. I don't know why they were showing Philly, but I got to watch Philly. Then I got to watch, what else did I get to watch? Boston. Public TV did the Boston Pops. Where the orchestra plays with it. And then on WGN America, I watched Chicago. So I watched a whole bunch of them. I was recording stuff. I don't know why. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
You're just happy to be home off the boat.
well, they were all like replayed. So, yeah. And this is, I had just gotten home and it was like, it's probably about 9 o'clock. Yeah, some of them were I didn't get to see all of them live, but a lot of them were played on replay.
Okay.
But, that was nice. But what I also watched was live from Fair Park on WFAA. WFAA broke into regular programming to go live from Fair Park. It's so, I love watching local television productions because they're all like their morning show hosts that are up doing these things. The same crew they roll out for parades and air shows,
It is. You're almost guaranteed that there's going to be a misstep, a miscue. There's going to be something.
It's going to be awkward. There's going to be an attempt at humor that's going to fall flat and it's going to be weird.
Yeah. I enjoy it.
The Bar Live event was huge on Tuesday night in Addison.
What was that? Yeah, sure. Bar Live sponsored Kaboom Town this year.
No, we weren't sponsored. It was a different event, but it was also in Addison.
Oh,
it was kind of mixed in with their fireworks show. There's kind of sucked a little competition there.
Oh yeah,
you couldn't tell which one
was
which.
You couldn't tell which was which. Oh well, that's good for you.
A lot of the red and blue ones were Bar Live stuff, though.
All right, so I teased you about one city that had a big malfunction when it came to their fireworks, and I can't get the sound effects up. The computer's not running right. It's running too slow. We don't have enough bandwidth here, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. Oops. Yeah, won't even connect to it. San Diego, they have this thing called Big Boom at the Bay. It's everybody goes down to the Bay, and San Diego City does their big, not monthly, but yearly big 4th of July fireworks thing. The Big Boom Bay. Hundreds of thousands of people come down to the Bay Area. They make a day of it. They shut down the downtown area. They shut down everything. There's people walking in the streets. There's cops on horseback. It's a big civic event, a gigantic event that happens every year, just like in every major city. They try and do some kind of big fireworks event. Well, in San Diego, with these couple 100,000 people there waiting patiently, the time came. And some music came up, and you heard the applause, and all the lights out around the bay there went dark, and everyone knew it was coming. And then one big boom. Every firework in the San Diego 20-minute display went off at once. One big ba-boom. It was over in 15 seconds.
Unbelievable.
15 seconds. The Big Bay Boom fireworks show in San Diego for 2012 was a Big Bay bust. There was a technical problem, and all the fireworks went off within 30 seconds. The original Big Bay Boom was set to last 15 to 20 minutes. This one went, all went off at once. Oh man! And think about me. All right, you know how upset I am. Imagine like a guy like me. I'm dragging my kids down there. I got to work in the morning.
Yeah.
Everybody's partying. The wife is drunk. She's irritating me. She's been drinking with friends. I'm sober because I got to drive home and I got the kids in the car. And then all of this, we fight. It's like a 3-hour trek to get to just the right spot. Everybody's hungry. It's just, people are irritated. Okay, I'm irritated. Everyone else is happy, but I'm irritated.
Yeah, everybody else is having a great time.
And then 15 seconds. 15 seconds of fireworks. That's it. That's all we get. Here it is. See all the boats, all the people on a...
They're like, damn, it's starting off this good. Wait till you see
And
the end.
there's no skyrockets or anything. It's just explosions. Oh, here comes the music. They're going to try to make the best of it. And that's it. And everyone thinks that that's like just the beginning. That's like, whoa, this massive, crazy explosion at the beginning. And no. So let's hear it again. Here it goes again. This is the entire fireworks display in San Diego that some dude probably spent 3 hours in the hot San Diego sun waiting for.
Well, they're more about quality, not quantity there. I love the way the finale is that little bitty sparkle on the left over
All
there.
right, thank you, folks. That's going to be it. Now sit in traffic for 4 hours. Seriously.
Wow.
Now go sit in traffic. Now spend the next 2 hours of your life trying to get to your car, and then spend the next 2 hours sitting in traffic, moving like 1 inch every 45 minutes.
That would suck, man.
Happy 4th of July. All right, so last night you guys did some shows. You had Big Dave and Chloe in here.
Speaking of explosions, man, the Big Dave and Chloe show was back in studio last night. Jimmy runs the board for these guys, and so, man, it was just last night was very interesting. First of all, if you look around the studio, do you notice we're sponsored by Lysol today?
Yeah, you're walking around. You got candles burning everywhere.
Candles
what the hell
burning,
happened?
lining. I feel like we need an exorcism going on. There's like a little. What is this? I know it's a little pack. Looks like a packet from far away. It's like a little baggie, don't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like I walked in here last night. First of all, Chloe brings in they had guests. Jimmy, they had a studio audience last night, wouldn't you say?
Uh-huh.
They have interactive guests now that show up. One guy looks like Lurch. How would you describe the gentleman that showed up? Tall guy, like a rocker type.
Yeah.
Kind of replaced Lane. They're both tall, but he has long hair.
So they got a new guy in there.
But he doesn't talk though. He's in the audience. They have then also Chloe brought his cute little girlfriend for the first time.
Okay.
And she's a little spitfire. But I walked in here though, and I was like, man, there's a weird smell about this place. Now there's a kid running around. They have a child. The show is with child. What's he like? 2, Jimmy? How's that kid?
I think so.
Who's
yeah.
good? They bring Mel's kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mel
That's
produced.
a cute kid.
He's a
such
cute little kid. But I couldn't tell if it was a dirty diaper or just the funk of their show going on.
That's
Okay.
a little kid. Little kid's gonna smell.
No, it was. I don't know that it was him. Hold on. Let's
No.
not blame the kid. Okay, he's a cute kid. Let's not blame the kid.
All right.
Because the smell seemed to start somewhere in the mid kitchen and it was all the way back up in here. Okay, and the kid was mainly running around the other part of the house, and Dave's wife was babysitting him most of the time. So first of all, I walked in. Then I walked in. I sit down. I was like, they have their sex segment. Okay, they have a pretty full blown sex segment. Okay, and we'll get to that in a minute because I'm pretty pissed about what happened on that segment. Okay, but I noticed that it was just interesting, man. But between the odors and the cast and the new audience members, who's very interactive with the show, by the way. Chloe's girlfriend. How would you describe her, Jimmy?
Oh, she's very cute.
But other than cute, how would you describe her personality type?
She's fun. She was like, going along with the entire show.
Very fun. Actually, she's very fun. She adds a lot of life to the audience, and she seems to be just as crazy as all of them, if not more crazy. Okay, which is interesting. Okay, probably just as vocal and sexual as Mel, wouldn't you say, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
The stuff she's on the side, but I want to talk about their habits though. The qualities of the show.
Okay.
First of all, I sit there. I came in here observed. Thought I'd watch some of the show. And I sit down, and the first thing I notice is Big Dave. He's a dipper, like yourself.
Right.
Big Dave, I caught, he does this right here. He pulls the dip out, and with the dip, you always have a little excess on your hands. What's he do? He leans down. I catch him leaning down. He puts his hand by his side and does the a little bit of this on the carpet, okay?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
He did a little bit. Well, after you do it several
On
times,
your
it adds
carpet.
up. Yes, on my carpet, okay, mind you. The rug, actually, but right below his seat. So you figure you do that 3 or 4 times. There's liable to be a little pile up of dip over there you can go grab later on if you ever need some, okay?
I can imagine if like you go to Dave's house, there's going to be like little piles next to where he sits, where those just kind of pile up.
Just a whole can is accumulated over the month.
So I noticed that, and then I went off and I called. Of course, they have these sex toys. Now I was disturbed for a while because Mel apparently tries out these sex toys on herself. She gets a box in from her sponsor, Adam and Eve,
right? And
she goes home and she plays with them to talk about them, okay? And I got to admit, because of their hygiene, for the longest time I thought she was giving away the toys she actually personally tried out. It wasn't real clear that, that you're gonna win this toy. Well, she just said she had it all over her body, okay? Not to mention Dave grabbed it and put it up in his orifices for a second also. But so that wasn't real clear. But the problem I really have with this show is I went in because there was a segment about what's the craziest thing you've ever had put up in your body.
Hold on, wait. What was the segment?
What was it, Jimmy? Like, what's the craziest thing you've put up in your body, right?
I think so.
Like sexually, you know what I'm saying? So they have some pretty cool gifts. I want to win some of these toys and prizes to keep around the Sunbrew house because somehow my stuff's all missing. And so I thought I'd call in and talk about some stuff that's occurred, not on my body per se, but people I've interacted with.
Okay.
So I call in like a listener because I was listening, and I rightfully win the prize, okay, which is a small little break-proof toy of some sort, okay?
Okay.
They had no problem giving that toy away to Chloe's girlfriend. They pretty much took the prize that I earned and won.
Well, but you can't, by any rules of prize giving, you can't win on that. This is your own station.
But if I'm the one that calls in and does the segment to win the prize and has the best story, why do they give it to Chloe's girlfriend? She shouldn't win either.
Well, you're not eligible. That's why.
And she is?
Yeah, she's not eligible either.
So they didn't even ask me, is it okay? They just grabbed my prize.
We're not governed by the FCC, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the rules are kind of like what I make them, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever you want.
I just felt slighted by that. So aside from the smells, the fact that I felt like we need to today I walked in, we did Lysol the whole studio, right, Jimmy? We Lysol the studio down fairly good, make sure everything's clean.
Didn't smell when I walked in here.
Yeah, because of Lysol.
Yeah.
Then I look over and they're starting to mark their territory like a cat would do or a dog would do.
Right.
They asked if I could leave this. I haven't. Number 1 taint queef. The hell's he got a trophy for that for? A little plastic trophy. Now we have a Dave and Chloe show banner on the wall that stayed up.
Very good.
And I just feel like slowly their stench of their show is just going to basically overcome this back room, where we might need to put plastic down on the seats and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, just hose it down after they leave. If it's your concern.
We really literally have to.
Open up the back door. You got a hose right outside that door. Just come on in and spray everything down.
But I mean,
are they still drinking? They still bringing the bottle of whiskey and all that?
Yeah, wine it seems.
Wine.
Their thing.
And what's interesting is I sat down in the audience and over there in the movie seats, and Chloe's girlfriend offers me a beer. At least she's polite.
Sure.
She's very interactive with the show, which is nice about her. She's very entertaining. But she has a whole bag of beer. And not like in a cooler. She's got like a bag of beer. You know what I mean? Like people go to the lake. And,
like in a brown paper bag? Or
it was a plastic bag, more modern. But yeah, in the old days, she'd have it in a brown paper bag. But this girl was very, very sexual, dude. When I say sexual, like we talked about the incidents where golf clubs were used for sexual acts back in the day.
This is Chloe's girlfriend?
Yes.
She talked about this on the show?
No, it's my show, or my sexual acts that occur with golf clubs.
Right.
So anyway, I could bring the golf club in. Jimmy, did you see her giving that golf club fellatio?
I didn't. I guess I missed that part.
How did you not look over at this? See that golf club over there by Jimmy?
Wait. What's the story? What's the origin of the golf club? Why was the golf club introduced to the conversation? What's its role in this?
It's one of the many reasons why I don't touch things when I come in here.
You put that golf club inside somebody?
Well, a chick. Back in the day when I was younger, and we used to try to see like what can we put in chicks? How far can we take it?
What?
You've never done that, dude.
No. When are you going to get tired of saying these insane things and then going, you've never done that? When are you going to get tired of that?
Well, I didn't have like...
I've never played a game with a girl where we've seen what we could stick up inside of her. No, I've never done that game.
First of all, I didn't grow up spending lots of money on toys. I didn't have the money to go, let's go blow $60 on a vibrator, okay?
That has nothing to do with anything.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I've never been in a situation where there was a girl who went, "Hey guys, let's see what we can stick up inside me."
Well, it's usually not their idea as much as me and my buddy's ideas. But they're all for it. They're cool with it. You know what I'm saying? It's working. But so basically, we used to make videos
so
back.
Seedy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's called creative art.
It's seedy.
It's called. Girls like toys, right?
I don't know.
Yes, they do. They love toys. That's why toy
sure
stores
they do.
exist.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't normally take that as, let's see what we can get in your orifice. Like, I have many things in this house. Let's see what fits.
Let's not knock it till we try it, guys. But
right.
as a guy,
no, I'm not knocking it. I'm simply saying that
I'm not trying it either.
I'm simply struck by the uniqueness of your stories. That's
it's because you try to push limits. You ever heard of pushing limits?
Well, sure, of course.
That's what we're doing. We're like, let's see. Okay, let's try this. Well, back in the day, we'd occasionally have the girl. I'm not saying they're the greatest girls in the world. The what's her name? Katy Perry types. But girls that we'd meet at the bars, usually
whores.
Times.
Obvious, just easy, dumb slut whores. That's what you're talking about, right? Whether or not they're hot doesn't matter. It's just
they're pretty good looking.
Up for anything.
And we would leave Times Square back in the day. I used to go to Times Square over in Addison. Yeah. And we'd come back, hey, look, we're like, in our 30s. You're trying to have a good time, right? So we do the whole ride around on bicycles, naked in Addison parties afterwards, wine tasting at the park. And we had little bits we did. It was fun. Interviewing the girls.
I have no doubt that you've had fun. You've definitely had fun.
And a lot of times we'd video record this stuff, do interviews, and the pictures of Super Penis Man and stuff would occur. And so we just interviews.
What? Wait, what?
The Adventures of Penis Man?
What is the Adventures of Penis Man?
It's the goings on of penis activity in meeting girls. A guy that it's like conquering. It's like Superman, but you're conquering chicks.
All right.
So we would often take the girls and go, like, for instance, I remember one night we had
It's the most amazing thing to me is that you think all of this is normal behavior.
Because it's what me and my friends grew up doing.
Right, but you and your friends are twisted and weird. Yes, you
We're
are.
creative.
When you compare you to the masses, the rest of humanity, what you are doing is very weird. You have some weird experiences that the average man not only doesn't have, but doesn't want to have.
You would want to take hot chicks and have them put on capes.
Well, first of all,
and interview to be whatever.
Hot chicks is a relative description here.
There you go. Hot chicks.
Right.
Yeah, I can show you some pictures. Hot chicks.
Do I want to just take hot chicks and stick things up them? Is that your question?
If you're bored and you're looking for something new to do.
If I was bored, I wouldn't want to do that.
It's kind of fun though to go.
Boredom.
You
With
don't
a bunch of friends, basically just exploiting some poor broken chick who has no idea that she's being completely belittled and exploited. Are you kidding me? This is like. There's no dignity in this. There's nothing. It's just so seedy.
It's not. It's called being bored. We're young, dude. We're having fun. Why are you trying to ruin my fun?
When I was bored, we shot hoops or we did something, like that. We got drunk in a garage, And
what's better? Let's go get drunk in a garage with our buddies or hang out with hot chicks. What's better? Jimmy, what sounds like a better time?
But you're not hanging out with hot chicks. You're doing things that are disturbing to me.
You didn't see them. They're okay.
But you stuck a golf club up a girl playing
a game.
But I
usually end with a handle.
Let me see what I can stick up your orifice. To me, I'm telling you, that
hold
sounds
on. What you didn't see? Hold on. Let me make it tasteful then. So,
all right. How you gonna make
let me make it tasteful? Because we're like, okay, we're going up the green. We're up the fairway. We're in the rough. We're trying to, hit a hole in one. We kind of play it out, dude.
So it's played out, Pugs. That's what makes it tasteful.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a play. It's like an act.
You may not have realized that they were actually talking about going down the green. Here's the rough.
There's a little bit of art, though, because you're kind of joking around. And
I'm guessing these girls mostly don't have fathers in the picture.
I didn't invite their dads along. Of course
but
not,
I'm just saying the kind of girl that would be up for something like this.
I interviewed them. Do you have a dad?
Well, you can tell. I guess when they say that they're going to come home and play "What can you stick up my orifice?" that pretty much answers the "Is your dad in the picture?" question.
I would say that the second that they entered the front door, that answered your question.
Yeah,
we say this all the time. Girls come over. Look, come on, dude. It's just a lifestyle. They're having fun. So we got a magazine. Listen, we made a magazine one time for this. We actually ended up one of our pictures in a movie because we did the whole break-in and entering thing where we had the mask on, the ski mask on, all that stuff, and we did that whole role thing that played. It was pretty funny.
And you pretended to rape her?
Yeah, no.
Yes, you did.
That sounds
you
bad.
made a snuff rape porn, and you're proud, like it somehow
it wasn't-
legitimizes your behavior.
No, it wasn't
Doesn't everybody
rape.
do that?
It wasn't rape. It wasn't rape. It was us breaking into the house, like,
In
oh, look
ski
at the
masks.
hot, look at the hot chick's like, oh, don't do nothing bad to me, burglar. You know, it's not like it was rape. It's like she wanted to.
And then
it
you did something bad to her.
Well, then
After
we
she
took
played like someone who didn't want. She was playing rape. You're role playing.
She wasn't playing rape. She's playing I'm banging the burglar. There's a difference in me.
Yeah, after she asked the burglar not to do anything.
Right.
No, she's being funny, dude.
Sounds a little rapey.
And that's what you tell the cops. She was being funny.
God, you know what? Obviously, you don't get this, but we took a picture.
It was funny, and then it got all rapey.
We had a. Hold on, stop.
She kept saying no. It's a real
No,
knee
she
slapper.
didn't. She was like, yeah, all right. She's like, I'm being a bad girl. Dude, whatever, dude. I'm sorry that y'all have never had these experiences. But so we took a picture. We had a lowrider bicycle that we kept in the living room. So we
Okay.
took a picture. We had we kind of like gangbangers because, I mean, literally, we had like the
Yeah, literally.
We put on the bandanas. And like she's sitting there in front of the bicycle, you know, all naked and posing. We're like on the back of the bicycle, like a lowrider bicycle, and we look like a gang, like we were part of a real gang. You know what I mean? In that picture, her naked, by the way. And there's a BMX magazine. It was all like hardcore, like kind of a nasty magazine. It was like street, and they would put pictures of naked chicks. And they put us in the magazine, dude. It was awesome, dude.
Good. I mean, yeah.
But anyway, so that golf club, maybe even that one. I don't know for sure if it was that one, but that golf club, we put it up in her along with like ketchup bottles and beer bottles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This is at different moments in my life. But they asked like one of the things.
Yeah, because you would never do that now.
No, I probably wouldn't.
Why wouldn't you? Why? Okay, now this isn't true. Why wouldn't you do it now, but you would do it then? What is different?
Because I'm played out. I'm older, dude. It's just been there and done that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a kid
Okay,
anymore.
so
I'm not
it's
a
just
kid
because
anymore.
you've already done it. All right.
I'm just not a kid no more. I'm a
It's
little
not
bit.
because the entire scene makes you uncomfortable.
No, I'm
that maybe
I'm
it's
lame, dude. I'm getting lame. I still do
seedy
crazy
and
stuff. Don't get me wrong. You see
morally
my phone.
bankrupt. Oh yeah, no, I
But,
know what you do.
but
You
it's
get
like-
into some crazy stuff.
I'm getting lame, dude. And it's too. You know what? It's too easy. Back then, we had to do those kind of things to try to get laid. A lot of times, we had to entice them with.
Didn't sound like you had to try too hard. I mean, that doesn't
Sure,
sound like,
like-
a girl who's up for that is pretty much up to give you a blowjob in the back seat.
You don't want to be like, hey,
I
let's
mean-
come home to the house and have sex. You're like, you want to come and ride bikes naked through the park in Addison? And they'd be like, oh, that's cool. Let's go do that.
Well, any
it's like-
girl, any girl who would be up for that, I would think would be up to just come back to the house.
But
and have
that's
sex
the
with
easier
you.
way of asking, do you want to have sex without asking it?
It's
You know what I'm saying?
it's the classy way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
the
kind
way-
of like the hidden, question mark, whatever. Anyway, bottom line is that the golf clubs would be in the vaginas before, and so that's a crazy thing to put in a vagina. So I won the contest, obviously, hands down, and that girl started taking that golf club though and giving it oral, and like showing how deep it can go in her mouth. This is Chloe's girlfriend, by the way.
You still have a problem with the F word being used on Big Dave's show because the content of this conversation is more offensive than anything that has ever
Their
been
show
done
is.
on that
I don't
show.
like the F word because that's not classy, but their show. their show. Their show.
So back to the story about how you got all rapey with some girl.
Yeah, let's keep it classy.
Let's keep it
That
classy,
wasn't
Brandon.
rapey, dude. It's called like making a movie. It's
called
different.
role playing.
It's called.
It is.
It's called acting.
It's rape porn.
It's acting. Whatever.
rape porn.
Whatever.
There's
That chick probably had problems. I admit.
All right, and you exploited those problems. You took
No,
advantage of her
she
for
was-
your own because you were bored.
She was into that kind of stuff. Obviously. Yeah. Trust me. She was into it. I assure you. But
I have no doubt, but I just would feel bad.
But back to what we're talking about. So Chloe's girlfriend was all over that golf club, giving it hand jobs, BJ, everything, dude. It was crazy.
do you
dude.
have any diseases? Have you ever gotten any diseases?
No.
Do you use condoms?
90% of the time I do.
90% of the time.
Yeah,
you
I
do.
mean, I've got girls I've dated before, so I felt,
No, you haven't dated anyone in a long time. Before this most recent girl that you sort of dated, but even when you were dating her. Well,
Look, I've dated girls. I've got girls that I'm still intimate with over 10, 15 years.
Okay, but you are not monogamous. You have never been monogamous, and it's ridiculous for some girl to consider that you would be monogamous, correct?
No, I'm ready for a relationship. I was ready. I tried to have one recently, remember?
Does it,
Yes, but you tried to have one recently, but I understand there were ground rules that said that you could have sex with anybody you wanted, but she couldn't, and that was the relationship rules.
That's how it started.
Okay, okay, but that's not a relationship. A relationship is not that I can't have sex with anyone else. It's I don't want to.
Hold on, all
I
fairness,
only want to
but
be with you.
But part of the negotiation was she cut out a major part of where I would have sex from a certain place that was like no more of those girls.
What does it mean? So she couldn't go to the bathhouse? What do you
No,
mean?
no, no.
Or a
Like
certain
certain
place?
girls
I
of a
don't know.
certain area of my life, I could not play with. I don't get the details, but basically that knocked out like majority of what I play
You're
with.
never gonna get I don't think you want a good girl. I don't think you want a good
Yeah, I
woman.
do. You're
no,
so
you
wrong.
don't. You're not, because you will never get a good woman. Going
First
about
of
it
all,
way
the girl
you're
I
doing.
dated for like a long time, at the time I considered a very good girl, and that's part of what I liked about her. I was like, she's a good girl. Then I
But a
found out
lot of times that means that you need a good girl so you can roll over the top of them, and that is something that I'm guilty of as well. My first girlfriend was like an incredibly good girl, always very nice, but I knew I could get away with a lot of BS. You know what I mean? Like I could go out to the bar, drink as much as I wanted to, and then just be like, "Hey, come pick me up."
Right,
You
but
know?
that's because you were a young, immature kid. Once you get older, 10 years from now, you might be looking at these girls you're dating differently. Like,
Oh, sure.
is this just a waste of time, or is this someone that I actually? Because once you start getting older, and Brandon, you're crashing into this, and I can see it in you. But you start to look at what you're not gonna be able to pull this off in 10 years. You're just not. We're not gonna be able to pull off the lifestyles. Your lifestyle in 10 years is not gonna work for you. It's just not. So you've got to be thinking about what comes next for you.
Did this just become an intervention?
Yes, right. That's what it just became.
We're
but
here to
first
talk
of all,
about
I've
this.
been trying to change my lifestyle, as I think you're aware of that somewhat, and I have, dude. I've calmed down a
You're
lot,
just
bro.
too wild. You're just too
You're
wild.
wrong. You're so wrong. I've
You
calmed
gotta-
down so much that it's ridiculous.
Do you think you're a sex addict?
No,
I do.
possibly.
I think you're definitely a sex
I'll tell
addict.
you why I do and I don't. I like the. I'm a sex addict for the chase. I
You
like
mean
the
guy
fun
who's
part of
doing
it.
rapey porns?
Like I went to Florida to get laid last week, right? That was part of the
Imagine
deal.
if you sat down with Dr. Phil and just started telling these stories. I mean, don't you think that
He would understand. He's a doctor. He understands the human mind.
he'd understand that you need serious help?
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
No,
that's
doesn't.
what he would understand.
I don't think so at all. I'm very open. Unlike other people, I'm not repressed. I don't hold back my feelings. I do what feels right, and I have a very good moral compass.
You do what feels right. It does not sound, in all fairness, it does not sound like you have a very good moral compass when you're willing to exploit girls who you yourself say are probably damaged and broken, and you
We're
shouldn't
all
be doing
damaged,
this.
Pugs.
No.
You're damaged.
But you don't. That's a lack of decency there.
Tell me
okay.
what
That is
feels
a
wrong. What feels wrong?
like honestly, I wouldn't like show pictures of that act unless she wanted it to be shown.
The one that was published.
The one that was in the magazine.
Well, she was okay with that though. She was okay. I didn't send the picture, and actually my roommate did.
All right. So.
But and like, there's a lot of things. Like I wouldn't put this lifestyle in front of certain young people, like under the age of like 16. I wouldn't. I'm very cautious of children. And no, I am, and preachers and stuff like that. I make sure that I watch what I do. I don't know when to say things when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate. I have a I think you know that, dude. Like I don't like cuss words. I don't like foul mouths and stuff around certain people. There's a lot of etiquette there.
yeah.
And
But it sounds to me like you have to work to be decent. Yes. If you are saying that I'm aware of children and I cut out that stuff when children are around, and I'm aware of when there's preachers around and I cut out that kind of stuff, it sounds to me like you have to work to behave yourself.
It's very active.
Because
It's
but you hold
natural
on.
for you.
But y'all do the same thing. I'm sure y'all don't try to engage in sexual activity in front of people. Y'all do the same thing. You think about that. Like, this is the wrong place to have sex. You do that. So it's no different than what I'm doing. See? It's the same thing.
So I love when you go see.
Yeah, you're lost of words because you're right. I'm right.
Well,
So
I'm
basically,
not
it's okay.
I'm not at a loss. I'm never at a loss for words.
So
I'm
you're
just simply
taking
trying
what
to
I said
choose
and you're
them.
digesting like, yeah, the guy's right, and I feel you.
No,
so
that's not
I was wrong. You
necessarily
you
true.
don't engage in adult activity that maybe is inappropriate. Like maybe drinking beer shouldn't be done at church. Maybe in front of like your kids. Sometimes maybe you don't
Well,
want to do it.
I wouldn't drink beer at church.
See, that's the
wait a
thing. You
second,
think
quite
about it, and I'm
honestly,
the
wait a
same
second.
way.
I have drank beer at church. My
You're
church
Catholic.
is very big in.
Okay, well, you wouldn't smoke pot
know.
at church. How's that sound?
No.
Okay, then you had to think about that, and I do the same thing. I have a moral compass.
So you wouldn't rape anybody. You
I
wouldn't,
don't-
you wouldn't
first of all,
simulate
never-
rape in front of a kid
Never,
or a preacher.
ever, ever.
That's your line.
First of
That's
all,
what you're
that was a
saying?
break-in burglary scenario where a lot of women are turned on by bad boys. A lot of women
are.
probably were like,
They
"Ooh,
are.
that burglar was pretty hot. I'd like to bang." You've not watched porno before? It's very common. Like the pool boy. It's
Of
all
course
the
I
same
have,
thing.
but I don't want to be in a relationship with a girl who
I didn't wanna
relates
have
to
a-
a porn actress.
Nor did I. I didn't want to date the girl. We never saw her again. It was a one-time deal.
All right, well then that is the difference.
I'm not trying to date.
looking
Let's get to the
for-
straight. I'm not trying to date these
But
girls.
then again, you said you were younger. You were younger.
I was
maybe
much
you were.
younger. Like I said,
Yeah.
a long time ago. Listen,
It's like
My
3
life-
years ago.
No, it was about 10 years ago.
It's back when I was pretending to be 25.
No, it was like 8 years ago. About 8 years ago. So it's a while back. But listen, don't hate because I can
I'm not
enjoy
hating.
life.
I'm not hating. Your stories have societal problems for me. That's all.
Okay, what it
You're
is
just worried
though.
about society.
I am.
What it is though, my stories are real life that happens all the time, and I don't hide behind them and try to pretend they don't exist.
Oh, my stories aren't real life. Like, I'm not the most honest and open person you're ever going to hear on the radio. Like,
okay,
I'm making
I believe
shit
you,
up.
but in all fairness, your life's much different than mine. It's
It is.
kind of mundane compared to mine.
Well, it's okay. All right. Yes, I will give you that. My life is definitely tame compared to what your life is.
But my life is much tamer now because I am older. I know this is going to stop one day. Of course, I did say this when I was 25. I thought it'd be over,
Right.
and it really hasn't stopped. In fact, it's progressed.
I don't see it stopping. I don't see you settling down. I don't see you. No. I
Oh,
don't see
you're
any
so
of that.
wrong because I'm really into business now.
I thought I did. Well, I mean, look, whatever. You've always been into business.
But hardcore into business.
but
Like I
you
need it
s-
to be big now.
You're still, look, you're leading the life of a young playboy. That's fine. It's the most extreme young playboy life I've ever heard.
In all fairness, I'm like half the age of Hefner. Yeah. So, in all fairness, like it makes me look,
I'm thinking.
in that
about
aspect, I look very young.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it. I think that's the show for today. Thank you. You can check out the Big Dave and Close show. It's there at thebarlive.com. You can also check out. Oh, excuse me.
It's hard to
heartburn.
digest that show, isn't it?
It's heartburn.
Yeah. That's what it gives you.
It's all that new information. It's burning up my innards. All right. Anything we need to promote?
Man, check out sunbrew.com. Check out our Facebook page. Go like it, Sunbrew events especially. Also, thebarlive.com's got a Facebook page. But go in there and become a fan of that. You've been updating that a little bit. I saw some activity on there. So make sure you join that. We got big things happening. A couple new shows. Tomorrow is Friday, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, new show at the Addison Tobacco and Cigar over there in Addison, man. Come hang out with us. They're going to have like free beer. Free
What time are you
food.
going to be out there?
I believe you start at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So,
All right.
new show all about
Cigars.
the cigars. Yeah, the lifestyle of a cigar connoisseur.
And what have you. All right, so that's good. That's all tomorrow. It's going on at thebarlive.com. I'm Pugs Moran, PMS for Jimmy Ryan. We're out of here. PMS, thebarlive.com.